Hi everyone, so second video review for this week is for Then and Now by Mccallan. If you want to check out my review, I have posted that just now, so if you're on YouTube there's a link in the description below, and if you're on Facebook or on my blog then there's a link within the post. And this is a video review. So Then and Now by Mccallan. This was really sweet, so sweet. It's about Lily. Her career is progressing really well, and she thinks she's kind of left her past behind her, but then she finds herself promoted to organise the wedding of her boss's niece, and the last thing she kind of expects is to find herself face to face with her ex, who is Bennett. And obviously Bennett's involved because she is friends with the bride. She's kind of found herself a little bit thrown in the deep end too. So Bennett is kind of uncomfortable and desperate to make amends with Lily and explain what happened all those years ago between them, but it's just not as easy as she thought, and fate keeps throwing them into these situations together during all this planning for the wedding, and it sort of presents a chance for Bennett to take charge and do what's right, basically, to make amends, and she really isn't going to let this opportunity for them to be happy again pass them by. She's really determined in that. So I absolutely adored this story. I liked the premise of it, but it told of the past and the present, and it really gave great insight into like the characters' lives, and it sort of gave insight into what happened with them without exposing too much too quickly. And you didn't really get a lot of the detail that wasn't known to one or the other character until they started to talk about it. So I loved that back and forth. So Monica's got this working between present day and the past, and she's portrayed it so clearly that you just knew which moment you were in. You knew what stage you were at with these two. And the past romantic moments were just hopelessly cute, so hopelessly cute, and they were filled with anticipation, and then the present was filled with drama and this longing for happiness that you just knew these two could achieve, because you'd had glances and snippets of it in their past interactions. You were just like, come on, sort yourselves out. But the one thing that I took from this, it was that there's a beautiful contrast in here that is really well depicted by Monica, that shows just how time changes people, things, circumstances and situations, just how it changes those. And like I say, Monica's captured it all really perfectly in this story. You know, as young and in love, Bennett and Lily, they were kind of empowered, and they were daring, but they were vulnerable and wary of the world and how they were going to be treated. But then you're looking at them now as adults, and they're still wary, they're still vulnerable, but they're skeptic in a way of what it all means for fate to sort of have brought them together, and whether they want to go through everything again. But they're also hopeful. They can see the potential, but that wary and vulnerableness sits on top this time rather than behind like it did when they were younger. And I love that she's portrayed that. Monica's captured that so perfectly, and you could really feel the emotion in this story and empathise with both Lily and Bennett. You could see Lily's point of view, you could see Bennett's point of view. Neither of them had easy decisions to make, neither of them were really to blame either, and it was just how things were back when they were younger and together, and so they were having this wonderful adventure back then, and that was wonderful to experience, but you just knew that they were then going to have to deal with the fallout of what had happened between them. So it was definitely a story of chance and hope. Like, Bennett had to take a chance, she had to hope, and Lily kind of had to take a chance, and she kind of had to hope that everything was going to be okay. So when things change, people change. You know, you may be able to capture something that was once lost if you try in the future. Like, it happens, I hope, a lot, that people come back together, you know, friends or past, you know, exes get back together, all these types of things. When you start to work through whatever happened, the circumstances, and you assess your new circumstances, you can maybe have a chance of something. And that's what I liked. It was that big important message of you're in a time and a place. When you're in a time and a place, things happen, and are you willing to forgive and forget, or just forgive and move on? Or, like, there was all these questions being asked. So I really loved that. And if you just try, the loveliest things can come about it. And I think that was the loveliest thing about Lily and Bennett's relationship, where they're going to try. to get back. They were never going to get back to that exactly how they were, but could they find a new level of it? And you know, as the truth started to come out and the understanding accompanied it, then they could finally make the right decisions, both for themselves and their hearts and potentially their futures. But that was never going to happen if one had one's point of view on it, the other had the other's point of view on it, and they never really discussed what happened for them both to understand the situation and everything that happened. So they had to have that. But this was such an exciting romance. This is what made it exciting, because I was Team Bennett all the way. Even though I really sympathised with Lily, I was cheering Bennett on from the moment we met her, and I understood a bit more about what had happened with her. But I was really cheering her on. I was really hoping that Lily would find a way to understand and forgive and allow herself to recapture a part of, or something, of that magical connection that they did have when you were then experiencing their past. And I loved experiencing their past. For me, those were the lovely bits. They had amazing adventures and travels, and I liked that you also had the chance during those snippets to try and work out what had happened between them before it is actually like discussed between the characters in the present. So you also had that chance to be in both their shoes and work it out. I loved that. But it was a really sweet romance, and it had a little angst, plenty of drama, and some brilliantly fun magical moments that just lightened the whole mood of the story. So I really recommend it, and I hope we'll see Bennett and Lily in a future story, because we've just got a little taste of them, and I think they've got potential to have brilliant adventures once again. So I'd love to see them in a future story. But I absolutely love this book. It was a lovely romance, like I say, so sweet. So I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and grab a copy of Then and Now by Monica Mccallan, which I hope you will. If you've read Then and Now, it'd be great to hear your thoughts, so please comment below. Please let me know what you thought of the book. And if you haven't read it yet, but you're planning to read it, it's on your to be read list, or you're thinking, I must read that book, again, comment below, because it's always great to hear what you're reading. And if you do read it, I really hope you enjoy it. Bye!